Welcome back to our chilling series exploring the haunted corners of the Grand Canyon State, where the desert whispers secrets and shadows stretch longer than the eye can see. In this sixth installment of Most Haunted Places in Arizona, we delve deeper into the eerie landscapes that have become synonymous with paranormal activity, places steeped in history, tragedy, and unrelenting despair. From abandoned mines to cursed hotels, Arizona's haunted sites are as diverse as its terrain, offering a blend of Native American legends, Old West lawlessness, and modern-day mysteries. Arizona's unique geography, a vast expanse of red rock canyons, sun-scorched deserts, and towering mesas, creates an atmosphere ripe for supernatural encounters. The state's rich history, shaped by centuries of indigenous cultures, Spanish conquistadors, gold rush prospectors, and frontier settlers, has left behind a legacy of untold stories and restless spirits. These tales transcend time and place, weaving together threads of human emotion, betrayal, and loss that linger long after the events themselves have faded into memory. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most infamous haunted locations across Arizona, sites that continue to captivate thrill seekers, history buffs, and paranormal investigators alike. We'll explore the ghostly corridors of Jerome's haunted hotels, uncover the tragic history of Tombstone's Birdcage Theater, and tread cautiously through the shadowy ruins of forgotten mining towns. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal researchers, and unravel the dark histories that give rise to these spectral phenomena. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of Arizona, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. The Jerome Grand Hotel, a ghostly grandeur in the copper capital perched high above the rugged cliffs of Jerome, Arizona, the Jerome Grand Hotel stands as a haunting testament to the boom and bust cycles of the Old West, a majestic structure that looms over the town like a spectral sentinel. Originally constructed in 1927 as the United Verde Hospital, the building served the bustling mining community during its heyday when copper was king. Its pristine white facade and sweeping views of the Verde Valley made it a beacon of hope for injured miners and their families. Yet beneath its polished exterior lay a darker reality, one marked by overcrowding, experimental treatments, and countless untimely deaths. One of the most pervasive legends tied to the Jerome Grand Hotel involves Room 304, said to be haunted by the spirit of a young boy named Johnny. According to local lore, Johnny fell ill with pneumonia while visiting his father, a miner working at the nearby United Verde mine. Despite the efforts of doctors and nurses, he succumbed to the illness within days. Guests staying in Room 304 frequently report strange occurrences. Lights flickering without cause, disembodied footsteps echoing through the space, and the overwhelming scent of antiseptic lingering in the air. Some claim to feel an icy hand brushing against their skin, while others describe seeing apparitions of a small boy playing with toys near the window before vanishing without explanation. Another prominent figure in the hotel's haunted lore is believed to be Nurse Eleanor, a dedicated caregiver who worked tirelessly during the hospital's operational years. Paranormal investigators exploring the property have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a female entity whispering phrases like, "Help me," and "I'm still here." Witnesses describe seeing a shadowy figure resembling Eleanor pacing anxiously near patient rooms, her silhouette illuminated by moonlight before disappearing abruptly. Some speculate that Eleanor remains tethered to the hotel due to guilt over losing patients under her care, while others believe her spirit seeks to comfort those who visit. The hotel's basement, once used for storage and morgue operations, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area often describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a maintenance worker who swore he felt cold metal cuffs snap around his wrists, pulling him backward toward the darkness before releasing him abruptly. Theories abound that the basement harbors residual energy from countless autopsies and experiments conducted in secret. Modern-day investigations into the Jerome Grand Hotel's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including room 304 and the basement. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique medical equipment believed to have been used in unethical procedures. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "Don't leave," and "I'm scared." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Jerome Grand Hotel continues to draw thrill seekers and history buffs alike. For those brave enough to book a stay, the opportunity to encounter its spectral inhabitants adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its architectural grandeur or the weight of its tragic legacy, the Jerome Grand promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. The Birdcage Theater, echoes of gunfire and grief nestled in the heart of Tombstone, Arizona. The Birdcage Theater stands as a haunting relic of the Wild West. A rowdy saloon and gambling hall that earned its reputation as one of the roughest joints in the territory. Operating from 1881 to 1889, the Birdcage was a hub of debauchery, hosting everything from raucous poker games to illicit brothel activities. Its name derives from the suspended bird cages, private boxes where ladies of the evening entertained patrons. Beneath its lively veneer, however, lay a darker narrative, one marked by violence, murder, and unspeakable tragedy. One of the most enduring legends tied to the Birdcage Theater revolves around the ghost of Lottie Dino, a notorious gambler and madam who frequented the establishment during its heyday. Known for her sharp wit and even sharper cards, Lottie allegedly died under mysterious circumstances after being betrayed by a jealous rival. Visitors exploring the theater report hearing faint laughter emanating from empty corners, accompanied by the clinking of glasses and chips. Some claim to see a glamorous woman dressed in Victorian attire standing motionless near the bar, her expression frozen in eternal amusement. Others describe feeling an icy draft pass through them, as though Lottie's spirit lingers, watching over her former domain. Another prominent figure in the theater's haunted lore is believed to be Billy Claiborne, a gunfighter whose violent death occurred just outside the Birdcage's doors. During a heated dispute with another patron, Claiborne drew his weapon too late, earning him a fatal bullet to the chest. Paranormal investigators exploring the property have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "Draw faster," and "It's not fair." Witnesses described seeing a shadowy figure clad in a cowboy hat pacing anxiously near the entrance, clutching what appears to be a revolver before vanishing without explanation. Some speculate that Claiborne remains tethered to the site due to unfinished business, unable to accept his untimely demise. The Birdcage's basement, once used for storage and clandestine activities, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with cleaning the area often describe hearing muffled screams and the sound of chains rattling, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a tour guide who swore she saw a group of shadowy figures huddled together in the corner of the room, their faces gaunt and hollow. Theories abound that the basement harbors residual energy from countless acts of violence and despair inflicted upon its patrons. Modern-day investigations into the Birdcage Theater's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the main stage and the basement. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique gaming tables believed to have been used in high-stakes poker games. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "Deal me in," and "He cheated." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Birdcage Theater continues to draw tourists and history enthusiasts alike. For those brave enough to take a nighttime tour, the opportunity to encounter its spectral inhabitants adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its Wild West charm or the weight of its tragic legacy, the birdcage promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. The Vulture Mine, shadows beneath the desert sun tucked away in the arid wilderness of Wickenburg, Arizona. The Vulture Mine stands as a haunting monument to the state's mining boom, a sprawling complex of tunnels, shafts, and crumbling structures that once yielded millions of dollars worth of gold and silver. Established in 1863 by Henry Wickenburg, the mine quickly became a cornerstone of the region's economy, attracting prospectors, laborers, and opportunists eager to strike it rich. However, beneath its glittering promise lay a darker reality, one marked by grueling conditions, frequent accidents, and countless untimely deaths. One of the most pervasive legends tied to the Vulture Mine involves the ghost of Pete Kitchen, a foreman who met a grisly end during a cave-in deep within the tunnels. Historical records indicate that Kitchen had been overseeing blasting operations when the explosives detonated prematurely, trapping him beneath tons of rubble. Visitors exploring the mine report hearing faint cries for help emanating from empty passages, accompanied by the sound of pickaxes striking rock. Some claim to see a pale figure crouching in the shadows, his face obscured by dust. Others describe feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them, as though Kitchen's spirit lingers, unable to escape the confines of the collapsed tunnel. Another prominent figure in the mine's haunted lore is believed to be Sally Doe, a young woman who lived in a nearby cabin and provided food and supplies to the miners. According to local legend, Sally was brutally murdered by bandits seeking to rob her home, leaving her body hidden among the rocks surrounding the mine. Paranormal investigators exploring the property have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a female entity whispering phrases like, "Find me," and "They took everything." Witnesses described seeing a translucent figure wandering aimlessly near the entrance, her silhouette illuminated by moonlight before vanishing without explanation. Some speculate that Sally remains tethered to the site due to unresolved trauma, unable to find peace until her story is told. The mine's underground levels, once teeming with activity, have also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area often describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a volunteer who swore he saw a group of shadowy figures huddled together in the corner of the room, their faces gaunt and hollow. Theories abound that the tunnels harbor residual energy from countless acts of violence and despair inflicted upon its workers. Modern-day investigations into the Vulture Mine's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the main shaft and the foreman's office. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique mining equipment believed to have been used during the height of operations. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "Get out," and "Leave me alone." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Vulture Mine continues to draw thrill-seekers and historians alike. For those brave enough to venture underground, the opportunity to encounter its spectral inhabitants adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its rugged beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, the Vulture Mine promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. Patterns across Arizona's haunted places, themes of suffering and survival as we traverse the haunted landscapes of Arizona. From the opulent halls of the Jerome Grand Hotel to the somber depths of the Vulture Mine, striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of hospitals to the shadowed basements of mining operations, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of mining accidents, or the betrayed trust of gamblers cheated out of their winnings, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted places, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal mining practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. The psychology of fear. Why haunted places captivate us? What is it about haunted places that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These sites, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or failing that, to ease our passing. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. The core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted places exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, health and illness, hope and despair. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between life and afterlife, sanity and madness, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. For many, visiting a haunted site feels like stepping into a twilight zone where the rules of reality no longer apply, igniting both curiosity and unease. Architecturally, Haunted places contribute to this atmosphere of dread through their design. Long, sterile hallways lined with identical doors create a sense of disorientation, while poor lighting and echoing acoustics heighten sensory awareness. These features mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and claustrophobia, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of fluorescent lights, feel ominous. The labyrinthine layouts of older structures, with their hidden wings and underground tunnels, evoke feelings of entrapment and uncertainty. Every corner becomes a potential threat, every shadow a possible harbinger of danger. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted places. Media representations, from films like The Shining to television series such as American Horror Story, have cemented the trope of the haunted asylum, courthouse, or battlefield as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted places become microcosms of larger fears: the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, haunted places appeal to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these tales allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that ghost tours and paranormal investigations of haunted places attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. Ultimately, the enduring allure of haunted places lies in their ability to mirror our deepest fears while challenging our understanding of reality. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, that pain and injustice leave indelible marks on both people and places. As we walk their haunted halls, we are forced to confront not only the spirits said to inhabit them but also the ghosts within ourselves, the regrets, doubts, and unanswered questions that linger long after the wounds have healed. In doing so, we find a strange comfort in knowing that we are not alone in our fears, that others have walked these same paths and emerged shaken but alive, to tell their stories. As we bring this chilling journey through Arizona's most haunted places to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of Arizona's haunted places yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all. But isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.